I saw the king eat a human heart with his bare hands. He didn't cook it. He didn't flinch. He just bit into it like a fruit, blood dripping down his chin. This happened when I was 14. I've never told anyone outside the village. But I can't sleep anymore. Maybe writing it will help. 2. I come from a small village near the edge of the old forest in southeastern Nigeria. Back then, our king was King Udo, not a king in the way you think. No palace, no crown. But he ruled over 5 villages and had final say in everything. People feared him more than they feared death. They said he was chosen by the gods. That he had power no man should have. That he could hear lies. That his shadow didn't follow him sometimes. He had rules, strange ones. Like no one was allowed to cry at night. Or wear red on a Wednesday. If you broke the rules, you disappeared. That's how it started. People just disappeared. First, it was small things. A woman who laughed during a funeral. A boy who cut down a tree without asking. They were gone by morning. Everyone said, the king has taken them. One day, my uncle Okoro came to visit from a town far away. He was drunk and loud, making jokes about the king. He said, "What kind of fool worships a man who hides in a mud house and paints his face with ash?" My mother begged him to be quiet. That night, there was a knock on our door. 2 men in red clothes stood outside. They didn't speak. They pointed at Okoro. He laughed, thinking it was a joke. He followed them. We never saw him again. But I did. About 2 months later, I was sent to fetch firewood near the forbidden part of the forest. I got lost. That's when I saw it, a circle of men. Fires. Chants. And the king sitting on a stool. There were 3 people tied up. One was a woman from our market. I knew her. Her mouth was covered. She was shaking. The king stood up. He raised a knife. Then, without warning, he cut open her chest. No sound came out. Maybe she was already dead. Or maybe the cloth was too tight. He reached in and pulled out her heart. Still wet. Still warm. He held it up to the fire like he was showing it to the gods. Then he beat it. Everyone clapped. I couldn't move. I was frozen behind a tree, too afraid to breathe. One of the men turned toward me. I ran. I didn't stop until I got home. I told my mother. She slapped me. She told me to never speak of it again. That was just the start. After that night, I started watching the king more closely. He only came out during cloudy days or when the moon was full. The village square would be empty before he arrived, like people knew when he was coming. Women would hide their babies. Men would bow without being told. Nobody looked at his eyes. They said his eyes weren't normal. That they were grey like ashes. I saw them once, by accident. He was walking by, and I looked up. Just for a second. His eyes met mine. I felt cold. Like I'd been buried alive. I threw up that night. More people vanished. A hunter. A girl from school. Even the priest. People said they had broken secret rules. Someone left meat outside during the new moon. Someone else washed their feet in the river on the wrong day. It didn't matter what it was, the king always knew. My friend Obi started asking questions. He wanted to know why we all obeyed. Why no one fought back. He said the king was just a man. He said he had a plan. I begged him to stop. I told him about the heart. He thought I was lying. He laughed. A week later, they found Obi's clothes at the edge of the forest. Just clothes. No blood. No body. I couldn't take it anymore. I needed to know what the king really was. So I followed the red cloth men one night. I hid in a canoe and waited. They took a young boy from a nearby village. I followed them deep into the forest. There was a cave I had never seen. It was shaped like a mouth. Inside, I saw things I can't explain. Bones on the ground. Symbols on the wall. And jars, big clay jars with faces carved into them. Human faces. The king came out from the dark. He wasn't wearing his ash paint. His skin was cracked. Dry. Like tree bark. His spine stuck out. He looked thin, but strong. He spoke a language I didn't understand. The boy was still alive. Tied up. Crying. The king sang a strange song, then bent down and whispered into the boy's ear. The boy went quiet. Then the king put his hand on the boy's chest and pushed. Slowly. Like his fingers were going through warm bread. No knife. He pulled out the heart and began to eat. No one spoke. Even the trees seemed to listen. I tried to back away, but I stepped on a branch. Snap. Every head turned. I ran. I ran faster than I've ever run in my life. They chased me. All the way to the river. I jumped in. Let the water carry me. I almost drowned, but I made it. I told no one. I stayed quiet. I learned to pretend. Years passed. I grew older. The king never aged. His skin stayed dry. His hair never grew longer. People called him the Immortal One. But something changed. The earth grew dry. Crops failed. Babies died. Some said the gods were angry. Others said the king was losing his power. One night, thunder cracked but no rain came. A fire started in the forest. It didn't burn the trees. It burned the animals. The birds. Everything ran from it. But not the king. He walked into the fire and came out with a smile. That's when the elders started talking. In secret. Planning. They found an old woman from another village, a priestess who had once escaped the king's wrath. She said the only way to kill him was to return what he had taken. His first heart. The one that wasn't his. I didn't understand. But the elders did. They found a body buried near the old tree, wrapped in red cloth. It was a woman. Her chest was cut open. But her face was peaceful. The priestess said this was his mother. The king had eaten her. So they took her bones and burned them. They mixed the ashes with goat blood and poured it on the king's shrine. He screamed. The next day, we found his body deep in the forest. His chest was cut open, and his heart was missing. No one cried. Not even the trees made a sound. But I knew what happened. I knew what I saw. I still dream of that heart. The way he chewed it. Like it meant nothing. Like a thing he'd done 100 times. Maybe he had. Maybe he wasn't the only one. Now I see shadows at the edge of the forest. People with grey eyes. I think the king had students. Or children. Or followers. I think he's coming back. I can feel it when the moon is full. When the birds go silent. I haven't slept in days. And last night, someone knocked on my door. Fear protects evil when no one dares to speak. Some traditions aren't holy, they are used to hide horror. If this story moved you, red heart like. Repeat button share with someone. Bell subscribe for more. Speech balloon drop your thoughts in the comment section, we want to hear from you.